Joe and I today are talking trashy TV with Megan Guido. We've got an entire rundown of Love Island on tap.
Love Island is really taking over the world. If you haven't watched it yet, you absolutely need to start. I know all the tea all the time.
Get in the chat, folks. We're talking trash TV every single day here on Reality Recap. All right.
I love that. Yeah, that's great.
The real challenge isn't production anymore.
Where in the content creation process should the human element remain non-negotiable?
But has the bar for what makes content effective just gotten higher for everyone?
Practical tools that make our marketing smarter and our operations more effective. Welcome, everybody, to Marketing Masterminds. I'm Bill DeCourcy, joined by my co-host, Joe Barker. And today we have as our guest, Megan Guido, the Director of Growth Marketing at AmeriLife.
Yes, Megan deals a lot with our lead generation, a huge expert in the lead generation space, and we know this is a hot topic for many. So we're going to jump right in. When we're talking about lead generation, I think for years the talk has always been about having, the quantity, not necessarily the quality. It was always about we need more leads. You have to have, bigger numbers. How are you seeing that shift now that it seems like quality is taking over and now AI is coming into play to help with that? What is the landscape looking like?
So everyone a lot of the time focuses on the cost per lead, which is where I think the quantity play comes into part. We're very focused on the cost that we're paying up front and not the lifetime value of the lead that's going to come down the line, which is really what tends to sneak up on people. They're going for the cheapest leads possible and not focusing on what that's going to look like from a retention play or if they're actually going to stick on your books. And AI can really help us to take the focus away from the quantity of the leads being generated and put it back on the quality for sure.
So Megan, you talked about three things there. You talked about the cost per lead, or what we call CPL. You talked about the cost per sale or cost per acquisition, CPA. And you also talked about the lifetime value. So we acknowledge that agents and advisors are very focused on that cost per lead. Can you talk about some situations that you've seen where the cost per lead has actually been deceiving and it was costing people money when it came to the number of leads they needed to buy in order to make a sale?
So yeah, a lot of people focus a lot, like I said, on the cost per lead and not too much on those other two touch points that you said, the cost per acquisition and the lifetime value. So a lot of times people will just look at, oh, this lead's only 50 cents or this lead's only a couple dollars compared to a lead that's maybe $20, $30, even $40, $60 sometimes, depending on the quality. And they're not looking at their conversion rate. They're not looking at the time it takes for them to convert that lead. That's cheaper. And that's where we really start to see over time, they're losing a lot of value in those cheaper, lower quality leads. It's taking them a lot more time to convert. They're having to do many, many touch points with the leads instead of focusing on a higher cost lead that's going to give them a higher conversion rate, take less of their time, allow them to make even more sales and give them a cheaper cost per acquisition and a more expensive lifetime value or a higher lifetime value.
That's a really important point that a lot of agents and agencies don't take into account, which is the cost of the agent's time. Because if you are buying low-cost leads that convert at a low rate, and you're churning through so many of them, there's the time and the frustration that you're not being compensated for there. It's better to make the investment up front with a higher quality lead so that you can maximize your time and maximize your book.
Yeah, you're not being paid for your time and you're actually spending more per sale than you would just spending a little bit more money up front. So yeah, it's definitely an important factor to think about.
So when we're talking about the heavy lifting or the value of the agent's time, we know AI can come in and AI can help with a lot of that. So AI can nurture leads 24/7. When you talk about platforms like LeadStar and it has AI capabilities built in there, there almost becomes a point, I think, from an agent's perspective of, do you still need the agent when you have AI doing a lot of the heavy lifting for you? So what are your thoughts between AI being able to help with that lead nurturing or working those leads and then where the agent still comes into play?
Yeah, so the AI is going to help a lot with segmenting your audience, targeting the right individuals. But the human is always 100% of the time going to be the person that's actually converting the sales. The AI can be a good crutch to get you in contact with the right individuals, but it's never going to fully kick the agent out of the funnel completely. The agent's building trust with that lead. They're building a human connection. You could put the highest quality lead possible in front of an unprepared sales agent, and they're not going to make a single sale. So the AI is going to help you get and reach the right clients, but you as the sales agent need to be prepared and need to make that human connection to actually make sales, build business, and keep it on your books.
One thing that's talked a lot about in the industry right now is this idea of AI lead scoring. Now, we've had lead scoring models for as long as any of us have been in the business. And some of them work and some of them don't. But all of them, when they're not AI enabled, need to be manually or regularly updated, right? An AI model is more self-healing, but it's also, I think, a little bit dangerous because certainly there's a possibility that these models could become discriminatory in the way that they characterize the leads. So what is your advice to people who are using AI lead scoring to make sure that it's always treating the customer correctly when it comes to, the things that can creep in when you let a computer just do its thing?
Yeah, so we definitely have an ethical responsibility as marketers to make sure we're not training our AI to kick underserved communities out of our funnels. Now, a lot of people will say, lessen your zip code targeting, lessen your income targets, lessen your age brackets to combat this or prevent that from happening. But when we're generating leads for insurance, we really do need those things in there to make sure we're talking to the right people that are eligible for our assistance. So we can't take it out, but it definitely could generate some bias there. So to prevent that, my recommendation would be to set really, really clear guardrails around those segments of underserved communities so that we're not unknowingly or undeservingly kicking them out of our funnels or marking them as low quality or low intent undeservingly. For example, in Medicare, we have specific funnels for dual eligible people, chronic illness people, people that are bilingual, people with special needs or special election periods, things like that, to really help segment them instead of kick them out because they're not low quality. They just need specific assistance, which the AI can help nurture and point them in the right direction.
We're talking a lot about the customer's perspective or the customer's needs, and we know, with platforms like LeadStar and that the agent's needs are just as important. And bad leads can really diminish that experience. So as leadership and as they're looking at platforms and how to optimize, what is it that leaders can do to help and with utilizing AI tools to help with that experience on the agent's perspective for those leads?
Yeah, so there's a ton of technology out there that's already readily available that can help leaders help their agents and make their days easier. For example, LeadStar and our network of partners, we utilize AI at basically every step of the funnel to make the agent's day easier. We're using AI to enhance our targeting, using AI to help us segment the correct audiences, audit those audiences, make sure we're using clean data, prevent bias. All of those things we're already doing for you and for the agents. We were using it at the front end and the back end to help make sure that the leads are being generated appropriately, our agents are having high quality conversations, and they're remaining compliant so that the agents can focus on selling because that's what they're really good at. They don't need, AI can be very helpful, but they don't need to be experts when there's already technology like LeadStar to do that on their behalf.
LeadStar continues to grow. LeadStar continues to get more efficient. Any recent highlights from LeadStar that you'd like to share with us? Because I see the reports and I'm continuously impressed by them.
Yeah, so we've actually delivered over double the amount of leads this same time this year compared to last year, which is a huge improvement for us, partially due to the new Enroll Here technology that we've implemented that does help us to push more leads to more individuals while still maintaining that high quality utilizing AI like we discussed previously. We also recently partnered with Sunfire to help streamline the enrollment of the individuals all the way from generating the lead to the post-enrollment experience. And we also just released a partnership with Essential Engine to help keep your business sticky, differentiate yourself from your audiences. It's a marketing platform and service that gives you magazines and social media content to really help make yourself stand out against your competition, which is super exciting. And looking into the future, we're also going to be releasing this month in June a partnership with Agent Review, which is, again, something that's really going to differentiate yourself from your competition because there's a ton of competition in the insurance space, specifically with Medicare, which is a lot of what we deal with. And Agent Review is going to help you be verified and look very professional and help verify your credentials against all the other options that the beneficiaries could be looking for. So we're very excited for that in the future.
you've had a front row seat since the very beginning of LeadStar. When did that launch?
LeadStar in 2022.
So since 2022, you guys have made some major advances from LeadStar to LeadStar 2.0. It just continues to keep evolving and getting better and better every single year. As Bill just mentioned, the numbers are incredible. So when you're looking, and I know you just mentioned a couple of things that are coming up in the next couple of months, where do you see, the next big thing, or where do you see this future headed with AI, and really what do you see sets the most successful agent apart from those that are just doing an okay job with it?
Yeah, so agents can utilize many different technologies to make them successful, but again, what's really going to set them apart is their sales skills and them as a person. And something that we're hoping to do in the future, it hasn't been finalized yet, but we're pretty confident we'll be able to do it, is use AI to help train the agents to be successful. So we're not only delivering them the leads, setting them up for success with the highest quality leads possible, but we also want to prepare them as the agent to be able to convert the leads, because again, that is the most important factor in closing. So we're setting up an AI training model so that you don't have to actually purchase leads to practice, but we'll give you an AI beneficiary so that you can run through, objections and running through the discussion of benefits and all those sorts of things that can maybe trip an agent up initially, so that they're not spending money upfront to do so and maybe even wasting beneficiaries' time. So using AI for quality control and also training is something that we're really looking forward to doing in the future.
It's pretty incredible what you guys are doing. AmeriLife recently did a agent survey. And in the agent survey, they said the number one thing that they're interested in is leads, which you guys are covering. And then number two is the training and the education to teach them how to get to that next level. So it sounds like you guys have it all covered and are going to be rolling out some pretty incredible tools and trainings and coaching over the next year or so. So that's amazing. Awesome job.
Yeah, thank you. We try to cover everything. So we're excited for that.
Awesome.
Incredible things happening at LeadStar under your leadership, Megan. Thank you. I know you're never staying still when it comes to the development of that product, so we appreciate that very much. Thank you very much to those of you who joined us. Look forward to seeing you next time on Marketing Mastermind.